surge.
Okay, well, before I get to that, if I may comment on one thing you said, uh, capitalism looks like it's coming back or it's in okay shape. Let me push back a little bit on that with some things for you to think about. Um, the United States now has the greatest level of debt in its history: government debt, corporate debt, household debt. This is an economy which has been living on debt and shows no sign of relieving that problem. Indeed, the rising prices relative to wages is going to drive even more working class families into even more desperate indebtedness. And if indeed we have the inflation that raises interest rates, which is what most folks who watch this stuff expect, then you're driving the working class into more indebtedness that's going to cost them more in interest. And that's a 1-2 punch they can't handle under these circumstances. And the big retailers in this country know that and are very worried about that. This debt, we've never navigated this situation. What a debt like this means is, think of it as a web that connects every business, every city and state, every household in a web of interdependent flows of interest payments, repayment of principal. We don't know then how a breakdown in any corner, whether it's ships in the harbor of Los Angeles or another upsurge of the Omicron version of the pandemic, etc. This is going to ramify faster than ever before, and in ways and directions there is no way to handle. And we're watching a government that is showing its complete incompetence here. It is pumping money like we've never seen in the history of capitalism into this economy. It is running budgetary deficits like we've never seen. And the silly commentary, as if all of this is doable, don't worry about it, it's all under control. I mean, you really cannot take this seriously. The only thing that's clear is that it's unprecedented, uncharted territory. I can't tell you what's going to happen. I'm not telling you it's going to collapse tomorrow. But if you listen to people who assure you that it won't, then you, everybody, the generalized you, are making a very large mistake. And I would also push back, and I don't mean to scare anybody with this, yet it has to be said, or else again we're living in fantasies. For the first time in a century, the United States is not sitting atop of the world as the big capitalist power that others can only envy. That was true after World War I, when all the other potential contestants for that role were wiped out, or wiped each other out, to be more accurate. The only ones who resurfaced after that, who could have perhaps made an effort to be a second superpower, the Germans and the Japanese, they were destroyed in World War II, so that the last 75 years up to now have been the United States in this extraordinary position. That's over. That's gone. The decline of the United States as a player in the world economy is palpable and clear from all the relevant statistics. But perhaps the most important thing is to understand we now have a competitor. It's called the People's Republic of China. This is as uncharted a territory in this century as is the level of indebtedness. And neither the indebtedness and all that it implies, nor the government's incapacity to figure out quite how to manage this, or the thing in China as a competitor, any one of those should have shaken. But having three of them at the same time, we are not a capitalist planner, and I assume there are some in Washington, looking at this situation, who blithely tells you, we don't have much to worry about, we're coming back. That's silly. That may be for public consumption. You may not want to get your people upset. I get that. But any level-headed looking at this should be very, very worried.